Hi, Edward. Really nice to meet you. How are you?
Good, Laura Donna. Very good. How are you?
I'm fine. So thanks for talking to me today, and we're sharing how was your experience with the B2B Prospecting Academy. But before that, I'd like you to take maybe a few minutes to talk about yourself and your business, if possible.
Well, I live in the UK now. I'm in Earl's Court, but originally, as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from the States. Originally from a small town in Maine, moved my way down to Manhattan and then Miami. And about 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago, founded Noon Dalton with my business partner, Jahan Noon. But the company, we predominantly work with companies that either currently or are looking to create and manage remote teams. So, the traditional sense of outsourcing, but kind of turned on its head a little bit. So oftentimes in the past, people look at outsourcing as just being, I'm going to go hire people in India or the Philippines, but now we look at other regions and other opportunities as well. So we'll develop a program for a client or replicate an existing program where they have administrative activities that could be done in India or customer care activities that would need people on the phone, which we would put them in the Philippines. So again, it's either fast growth companies that are looking to us to help design and evaluate programs and then launch them for them, or working with companies that have existing outsourcing teams that are either looking to expand or potentially relocate their teams to us.
I'd like to ask you, how come you registered for the B2B Prospecting Academy?
My business partner and I have been very involved in Entrepreneurs Organization for about 8 years. We started as a sponsor, became a member several years ago, and then I joined the board here in London. And we'd always done our marketing kind of ourselves, and we did it as a bit of an ad hoc, here and there. We try things. Someone would come in and say, hey, you should test this, you should try that. We'd bring someone on for SEO or for AdWords, and it was piecemeal together in a way that was very challenging for me as the owner of the business and the head of the marketing department to be running. So we made a bit of a pivot last year, and with that, the B2B was perfect timing for us to look at Noon Dalton as a whole, look at all of our marketing collateral, and be with a group of other entrepreneurs and understand what other groups are doing at the same time. And then with Laura Donna and the B2B network, we were able to go through and not just look at, item by item by item, but then really evaluate which ones made sense for us.
What were some of the challenges that maybe you overcame by just attending the program?
It's challenging as an entrepreneur wearing many hats. The phone rings and it's someone that's upset because a sale didn't go through, or someone else that's upset because their commission wasn't as big as they expected it, or a client misunderstood something that a staff did. And those are the fires that we have to put out on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of the day, at 6 or 7 o'clock, it's challenging to put the marketing hat on and go in and do a LinkedIn campaign, or to think about the one thing that you're best at as an entrepreneur in an organization. So I think the challenges fall more on myself. An opportunity that came off the back of it, which I was really pleased we were able to move forward with, is we were able to bring my team together and actually launch a program with your organization that is specific for us. So I believed in the process enough to actually bring it internal and replicate it. So I think the challenges again are, as an entrepreneur having a lot going on, sometimes it's challenging to set aside the time necessary to be able to focus on the homework and make sure that you've actually learned all the steps in the process so you can bring it back to your team. Or if you're doing it for yourself, it's a great way to have that required time where you accomplish the objectives of the course.
It is a process, it's not an event, and it has to be a daily process that we follow. You mentioned a few times the network, like the B2B network. How was the structure of the group that you joined? How did you relate to the peers in the group?
When I first joined, some of the people were kind of in the marketing department or in the sales department of organizations, and other people were owners. Some people were part of Entrepreneurs Organization and some people weren't. I think towards the end, the blend was actually quite nice because people were coming at the situation from different levels, And as an owner of a company, I got to actually think about the way that maybe someone that was in this, on the sales team or someone on my marketing team might be approaching a problem or looking at a situation. So I think that blend was quite nice. Had it all been entrepreneurs, probably would have been good as well. But I think that the mix was really nice. It also allowed for some knowledge to be shared up channel from people in a junior position to us as far as the way that we think about things, and then also our experience, we could share it with the rest of the team, the people that own companies versus were employed by companies.
So this experience share, this more, let's say, more practice rather than theory, did this work out for you during the program?
I'm a person that needs to be held accountable when it comes to the day-to-day operational things, and they're not necessarily the things that I'm the best at. So this was a great way for, it's like going to the gym without a personal trainer or going for a run without a friend. This kind of program for me was amazing because it was once a week. I knew it was going to happen. I knew what I had to do. And if that meant that, I stayed up a little later, got up early one day to do it, I made sure that it happened, and it held me accountable to the goal, which was to create a pipeline of prospective deals for us to be able to close as a business. And I think it did an amazing job doing that.
How about the results? Since you mentioned you did this, any clear results?
Through the course, there was 2 clients that look like they'll be closing. In transparency, based on what we're dealing with globally with the pandemic, businesses are taking a longer time to be able to make decisions than they have in the past. But I can directly correlate 2 strong, I would say 95% probability that they will close, which is more than I would have expected.
Are there any other major takeaways that you got from the program?
The more that I've dug into the marketing aspect of my company, the more that I've realized that there's so much that can be done, that the inbound marketing, outbound marketing, analytics, keywords, things that I understood at a superficial or at the top level. But as you dig deeper and deeper, there's so much wealth of opportunity out there that doesn't necessarily require tens of thousands of dollars that you need to spend. There's so many ways that we've learned through this program that now our marketing department's focused on, that I think will generate reoccurring business for us of the right type of customer.
What type of a person or role, what type of a business do you think it's more appropriate to attend such a program?
I would say that this works really well if you're a business that feels like you're doing a good job of marketing but want to have more strategy behind it. I also feel like this would be a good course for someone that is a marketer that may want to be refreshed on some of the new technologies or the new approaches. So they're accustomed to doing things a certain way and they want to maybe shake it up a little bit and learn some new skills.
Another thing that I wanted to point out, which was sort of a given for you, but not so easy for anybody else, is how much value you provide to your customers. Can you maybe talk a bit about, the whole value concept and the service excellence? So can you elaborate a bit about how you add value to your customers, and particularly in the service excellence, which I found it really unique with your business?
Yeah, so I think one of the challenges is that a lot of people look at outsourcing or remote teams or call centers, and it has a negative connotation. For us, it's as important to make sure that our internal clients, which is the people that work for New Dalton, are happy and they have growth and they have learning. Personal development is very important. We've developed an internal university for our staff so that at the end of the tenure that they're with us, they're leaving us a better educated staff than when they arrived. And that's really important for us. What ends up ultimately happening is it takes time to build trust with a client. And once the client starts looking at us as their outsourcing or remote team partner, and they look at us as part of their organization as a separate entity, but we care as much about their work as they would themselves, that's when they see that excellence of our staff shining through. We have several clients in the US and also in Europe that come in with a small project, and then we'll work with each of their department heads and say, listen, what are the things that are challenging? What positions do you have a high turnover in your current structure? Is there positions that you've hired multiple times for the same person over the course of the last year or two? How much time does that take from your HR team? How much time, how many times during your quarterly meetings do you have to have these conversations around junior people that you need to rehire. Looking at a provider like us, yes, we're an extension of your team. Yes, we're more economical, but the work gets done without the stress of your internal team. So the key element being that you can focus on the most important things locally and allow us to focus on the things that are equally as important, but not necessarily revenue driving activities. So, administrative back office support or customer care or chat support. There's hundreds of different things. Again, as I said in the beginning, unfortunately, there's a lot of companies out there that don't have as much care and don't think about things from a client's point of view. All they care about is, bringing on a bunch of staff and getting the business. But the business doesn't stay if you don't take care of the clients, and that's what our focus is, our internal and external clients.
It's amazing to see how preoccupied you are about the well-being of your staff and how this reflects into the quality of the service. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to hearing about your amazing success, and I hope that you'll achieve all your goals for the year and the years to come.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thanks. As well.